One of the staples of shonen anime and manga are the power-ups or amps that our characters get during the story. They're very common and they can be done very well or very poorly, depending on how you go about writing those amps. Today we're going to be talking about one of the best, if not the best, amp in the Naruto series, Sage Mode. Before that though, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoy my content, and ring the notification bell. Sage Mode is a very interesting amp, and I'm talking more in regards to Naruto Sage Mode in the fight against pain. That's the best use of Sage Mode, and arguably of any power-up in the entire series. Mechanically speaking, Sage Mode is not terribly complicated. The user collects the Sage energy into his own body in an amount equivalent to his own chakra. The Sage energy then enhances his physical capabilities to a very high degree. You're more durable, you're faster, you are definitely stronger. Things usually amps do for you, you know, this is the basic stuff. Sage Mode then provides more chakra just from the nature of you collecting Sage energy around you into your body, enhances your sensory capabilities, and it also allows Naruto to use the frog taijutsu to fight against pain as well. Sage Mode looks extremely cool. I mean, look at this Naruto here. This is the best Naruto design. The Sage Mode eyes are very nice, and this red cloak with the dark flames. I don't know why Naruto didn't keep this. It looks so cool. This Naruto demands respect, man. Sage Mode is also a very neat ability that fits Naruto's character pretty well. Being attuned to nature implies that the character who is able to use Sage Mode knows how to control his emotions. Now, even though Naruto can have a short fuse sometimes, this shows a lot of growth from the character. He was able to stand the trials of Sage Mode. The frogs knowing Sage Mode is another thing that's very interesting because it uses the summonings Naruto has access to in a very different way than they're usually used in the Naruto universe. Instead of only summoning them in the battlefield and using them for fighting, Naruto actually gets to learn from them, and a very powerful ability at that. It also fits very well with Naruto's character being from the Uzumaki clan and having a lot of chakra, that he would be able to master Sage Mode because he has a bigger chakra pool, and therefore he's able to sustain more of that Sage Mode energy. And this is all cool, but this isn't the best thing about Sage Mode. The best thing is actually the limitations of Sage Mode. And this only really applies to Naruto because when Jiraiya uses Sage Mode, for example, Fukasaku and Shima can actually maintain Sage Mode while they're sitting on Jiraiya's shoulders, which means the limitations are not nearly as bad for Jiraiya. Sure, he doesn't have a perfect Sage Mode, therefore he gets that weird appearance and he isn't as strong as Naruto, but Naruto's Sage Mode is cool because Fukasaku and Shima, they cannot stand on Naruto's shoulders because the Nine Tails is just like, nope, and just bamfs them out of there. So Naruto had to find a way to work around that problem because you can only collect Sage energy and enter Sage Mode if you are completely still. And being a pretty smart guy, Naruto realizes, wait a minute, I can use my clones for that. I've used my clones to learn the Rasen Shuriken, the Rasengan, and now I can use them to enter Sage Mode. So the way Naruto works around his Sage Mode limitation is that he uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu and he keeps the clones maintaining Sage Mode in Mount Myoboku. Then when he runs out of Sage Mode chakra, he summons the clone back into the place where he is, releases that clone, and when the clone releases, the Sage Mode energy is transferred back to Naruto. Now this may seem a little simple. I mean, yeah, it's fine, man. It's just a little thing Naruto does. But it's actually very interesting. It can make for very cool fights where Naruto has to think around this problem that he has, that if he runs out of Sage Mode, he has to find an opening to summon the clone, and of course he's weakened when he is not on Sage Mode, and therefore he is vulnerable. So this ramps up the tension. If Naruto was able to maintain Sage Mode non-stop, things wouldn't be as fun because then the tension wouldn't be as high, because Naruto will be strong all the time. I mean, he was kind of nagging pain when he was on Sage Mode. He was able to break his rod with his bare hands when he was on Sage Mode, which is a pretty big deal, and he was easily one-shotting every single path of pain whenever he landed a hit on Sage Mode. Usually amps in Naruto have something to do with the time limitation or a chakra limitation, and sometimes both, that you can run out of your amp. That's the case for KCM, where the Nine Tails can run out of chakra, for the 8 gates when you have a time limit to maintain the gates open, for the Curse Mark when you have a time time limit, otherwise the curse mark is going to just take over your body, so you cannot maintain it for too long. But Sage Mode is different. Sure, it does have a time limit. You don't have an infinite amount of Sage Chakra. But then to enter Sage Mode again, which is something you can do, you have to find a way around this particular problem, which I would say is something more interesting than just waiting for the chakra to come back in the case of KCM2/KCM1. Naruto kind of ran out of chakra in those states when it was convenient for the narrative, and he got chakra back when he was convenient for the narrative as well. But to recharge Sage Mode, Naruto has actually to work for it, which means it's more satisfactory whenever he regains Sage Mode. For example, after Neji died, Naruto was unable to use KCM2 to save Neji because he ran out of chakra. He had that pep talk from Hinata, and all of a sudden he was filled with KCM2 chakra. You know, the Kyuubi had recharged, and then Naruto goes and recharges the entire Shinobi Alliance with his chakra. Sure, it's an okay scene, but it seems as though it took the Nine Tails just a couple of minutes to recharge its chakra completely. And that's the thing, we don't really know how fast chakra regenerates within oneself, or even for a tail beast for that matter, and it takes a reasonable amount of time for you to completely enter Sage Mode. So these are more palpable limitations than just, oh, I ran out of chakra, oh, I have chakra again. I'm not saying the other amps are not good, because sure, you can just hand wave these types of things and say, oh yeah, he has chakra now because it's good for the story. But when you have a more concrete reason for why your chakra returned and how that chakra returned, that makes fights even more satisfactory. It's just such a shame that Naruto doesn't use Sage Mode very much. He had the big fight against Pain, that was the main Sage Mode fight, and then he fought the Nine Tails, but he didn't really have that limitation when he was fighting the Nine Tails, because in theory Naruto was standing still the whole time. That fight was happening in his subconscious, which makes the fight a little bit less interesting. Naruto was just bombarding the Nine Tails non-stop, and he wasn't really afraid of running out of Sage Mode. That's where the limitations that Naruto faced against Pain were so cool. Then Naruto learns KCM, and Sage Mode becomes a little bit of a background power-up Naruto has. He only uses that in a couple of situations after that. Then he learns how to lay Sage Mode on top of KCM2, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. Naruto is too powerful at that point. Sage Mode only allows him to hit Jubito anyway, and it's not like Naruto is really having to work around his limitation in Sage Mode. He just kind of closes his eyes and collects Sage Mode. However, in the final battle against Sasuke in the Valley of the End, Naruto uses that technique for the final clash between the two massive Rasen Shurikens and Indra's arrow. He leaves one Kurama shadow clone on the ground while Sasuke and Naruto are flying up, and then he sends up a massive amount of Sage energy that if he hadn't sent to infuse another Rasen Shuriken with it, he would have died. So at least Kishimoto remembered to do that once before the series ended after the Pain fight, which was a cool thing. Watch this video right here for more interesting Naruto content. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and thanks for watching.